Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today, I'm doing a book review of Hammajang Luck by Makana Yamamoto. This is a book coming out January 14th, 2025. Try to remember not to say 2024. It also came out in December in some places. I'm not really sure. So it's from Harper Voyager. It is a sci-fi heist novel. It's my first book review of the year. What have I changed about my channel going into 2025? Absolutely nothing. Moving on. I received this book from NetGalley in exchange for a fair review. A sci-fi heist with a fun team and some emotional heft, Hammajang Luck is a good read if you want something super queer about stealing from the super rich. What is it about? Eddie is done with crime. 8 years behind bars changes a person, costs them too much time with too many of the people who need them most. And it's all Angel's fault. She sold Eddie out in what should have been the greatest moment of their lives. Instead, Eddie was shipped off to the icy prison planet spinning far below the soaring sky bridges and neon catacombs of Kelper Space Station of home to spend the best part of a decade alone. But then a chance for early parole appears out of nowhere, and Eddie steps into the pallid sunlight to find none other than Angel waiting, and she has an offer. One last job, one last deal, one last target. The trillionaire tech god they failed to bring down last time. There's just one thing Eddie needs to do, trust Angel again, which also happens to be the last thing Eddie wants to do. What could possibly go all Hammajang about this plan? Luckily, the blurb also provides the definition of Hammajang. Hammajang, adjective, definition, a disorderly or chaotic state, messed up. It borrows from the Hawaiian pidgin, which if you don't know, a pidgin is a bird, but also a language created by two peoples who don't share a language. They take bits and pieces of both as it develops. Sometimes it turns into its own language, but mainly it's used by both groups as a sort of like pseudo-language in order to communicate. Some cultures developed to speak them as their main language, which is so interesting. It's an etymological thing. If you don't find etymology interesting, you probably are like, who cares? I find it fascinating. I took an etymology course in university, and I thought that was so cool. So that's why I know what this stuff is. Anyway, this book includes a bit of that in dialogue between two characters, but it's easy enough to follow, and it's quite minimal. The characters are the focus of the story, and it's told in first person by Eddie. At first, I wondered how that was going to work with the heist aspect, as the best part of heist stories is how it all fits together with people doing different tasks. So how to see all this from one person's perspective, I was like, I don't know. But the way it's actually shown in a clever way, it's through descriptions of video feeds or via dialogue, but also because the story is almost kind of less about the heist than the characters and the found family aspect that kind of propel the heist to happen. The story does suffer a little bit in terms of pacing. It takes a while for it to get the team gathered and the heist to actually start, but that did give us time to understand Eddie and their background. Eddie is a very well-developed character. You understand their deal, pretty much from the outset, but we also get to see them kind of grow through flashbacks and through kind of memories, and also how they live with their family, things like that. They are a very interesting ex-con because they're not sort of hardened by their time in prison. They are a little bit, but that's not really kind of the trajectory of their story arc. It's very interesting. Eddie was a very, very good character. I really liked them. I thought that they were endearing, and I hoped that things would work out for them just because I thought they were great. Unfortunately, to do with the characters, one thing that really needed bolstering was Angel as a character. I found it hard to understand why Eddie seemed unable to just drop her, and the dilemma around their friendship could have been broadened a little bit more. While I fully understood Eddie, I didn't really understand what Eddie saw in Angel. The other characters were really fun, though. They could have used a few more scenes devoted to them for me to really grow to care about them on a deeper level, but I think this also was kind of the perspective thing. If we had been third person, we probably would have gotten little intro chapters about all of them, and that would have worked well. Kind of like if you think of movies like Ocean's 11, they'll show kind of a backstory of each character that's involved in the heist. They didn't really do that here. They kind of had a little bit where Eddie would travel with Angel to meet these people, but we didn't really get to see them kind of in their own element. And so I thought that was a little bit disappointing. It didn't not work, but I also think it could have, maybe third person would have worked a bit better. I don't know. This is one of those things where I'm like, is it me because I'm not super into first person, or is it the story? I don't know. Either way, this is a pretty minor thing. The world building is really, really rich and fun. It's easy to understand and picture. It's a dystopian corporate world where the rich are getting richer and the poor even poorer. Sounds familiar. It's also about gentrification, technology, family ties. It's not exactly cozy, but it's also not dark. It's like Ocean's 11 if everyone were queer or lesbians, you know. Is that what Ocean's 8 was? I don't know. I actually haven't seen that movie. Tell me in the comments if I should watch it, if I should like it. I don't know. Anyway, read this book if you like stories where nearly everyone is queer. Heists where taking down the bad guy a notch is almost better than the money. And cultures adapting to diaspora, and that diaspora being in space. It's got a lot going on for it, this novel. I really liked it. I thought it was really, really good. Thank you again to the publisher for the e-arc. Also, that cover is really eye-catching. This is what drew me to the book, is this cover is so pretty. Thanks.